Hello everyone, I am so happy to see you. According to YouTube Analytics, over 70% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you guys want Pugsley to eat this month, I suggest you do so. Enjoy the video guys, I love you guys forever and always. Hello everyone, so today I will be making an updated Gnar guide for the last couple weeks of season 13. So there's about 2 to 3 weeks left to climb while making this video. This video I think is going out on Thursday, so there'll be a little bit less than 3 weeks, but that should be enough time, hopefully, for most of you to get the ranks that you want for the last push of the season. So I guess I should introduce myself a little bit. My username is xpugsley, but my real name is Isaac, and I peaked Master just now with Gnar this season. So I just want to share some of my knowledge so you guys can hopefully climb and reach your desired ranks for the end of season 13. And I'll also be making another Gnar guide next month for season 14 after I play a little bit on it, just, to give an updated feel to the guide. But I want to make this guide now, so hopefully you guys can get the information and knowledge that you need to hopefully rank up for the last couple weeks of the season. Anyways, let's not waste time and let's get straight to the item build. Alright, so we are in the items portions of the guide. I'm going to try to go through this quickly. I don't want to spend too long as there's only a couple weeks left in the season and I want you guys to be able to have as much time possible to climb with Gnar. So I'll be getting all my information and items. So first, starting items. They did change this a little bit. They gave D-Blade and D-Shield more health. D-Blade got a little bit more damage. I don't think it's worth to go Cole anymore first because 100 HP is a lot and 10 AD is a lot, and you're at a pretty big disadvantage. And with Gnar, you only have 400 or 540 HP with Cole if you start that, so it's just worth to go D-Blade or D-Shield. Go D-Blade if you want to be aggressive, and then D-Shield against poke. That's the basics of it. Now, first back, I like to get Cole and Boots. That's really good. I think that's the core buy for your first back. Cole is really good combined with D-Blade because it feels like a vampiric scepter. Your sustain is very good, especially with fleet footwork, and this just gives you free gold, so it's perfect. And then boots are essential because movement speed early on Gnar is core. And then if you have the gold, you can just buy a refill pot and then a control ward. Control wards are very important for vision, of course, and getting vision on enemy jungler. And then the reaction time is also perfect. If you prefer to build towards your mythic, you can get Axe or Kindle Gem or Sheen, but I personally like to go Cole and then my boots with a pot first. It's just preference, but you can also go towards Trinity Force. And then we'll go to the core items. Like I said, I think boots, tier 2 boots first are core, and then just depending on the game, you go Merc Treads or play Steel Caps. And then, of course, the best mythic item is Trinity Force. This item is just perfect on Gnar. It has all the stats that he needs. And then, yeah, definitely the passives on this item are perfect. And Sheen proc is very broken right now, so abuse it while you can until Season 14 comes, because this will increase 300 gold in Season 14. And this item won't be as good, but it'll still be very good in Season 14 for Gnar. This is just so broken with all the passives that has it, all the passives is so broken. Next is Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver is just overall a good item. It gives all the stats Gnar needs, like the ability haste is broken on it. The tempo you get with this and Trinity Force together is crazy. That's why Trinity Force and Black Cleaver together are broken. The armor reduction is elite, especially when you have AD people on your team and enemy team builds armor. There's enough armor in the game nowadays to build this pretty much every game. And then the Rage passive is very good because movement speed is elite on Gnar. And then of course you can go into a Steerax Gauge, 2nd, 3rd, 4th whenever you need it against burst champions. I think this is one of the more safer items to go. If Cleaver isn't as valuable, let's say your team mostly locks AP and enemy doesn't really build as much armor, this could be excellent by 2nd, but I think you could always fit this into your build. 3rd or 4th, even 5th. Like the shield is very good. Very good against assassins, mages. And then Hullbreaker, this is just preference, but split pushing is very broken in this season. Hullbreaker is just amazing. Like they buffed the towers, 2nd tier towers to be 700 gold. I'm sure they nerf plates, but getting these 2 outer towers will give you a ton of gold alone. And Hullbreaker just helps you do that, especially with Trinity Force, like the Sheen proc, it's amazing. And then even if you don't split push that much, look at these stats. These stats are honestly broken for Gnar anyway, so team fights will even be good even if you're not split pushing. So this is like preference item, but I think Hullbreaker can be very good, even to match the item against other people that built it. Okay, that's it for core items. So core items, you probably just want to just build these for every game, and then you can go Hullbreaker if you want to. All right, so for armor options, I think one of the best armor items right now is GA, especially if you're snowballing. I think this item's very good, 3rd or 4th, even 5th. It's just broken to get a rebirth. And then Randuin's Omen is a reliable armor item, especially against champs that do crit, like Tryndamere, Gangplank, all ADCs pretty much. And then the slow on it is very good for you as well. Thornmail is probably the best Grievous Wounds item, so whenever you need healing reduction, get this. And then Desmond's play is just, I wouldn't build it all the time, but it's good situationally whenever you need movement speed. Next is Magic Resist. I don't really like Magic Resist items that much this season, but I definitely think the best are Witsend, and then it may be weird seeing Sterak's Gauge here, but I honestly think Sterak's Gauge is the better like item to deal with Magic Resist champs that just burst you down like mages and stuff, because the shield is just elite, honestly. So that's why I put it here. But Witsend is probably the best item, especially when snowballing. If you're ahead, this item is very good. Like, you could kill people with like 6 to 7 autos with this in Trinity. It's pretty broken if you're ahead. I think Spirit Visage is very good combined with Sterak's Gauge, of course, for the shield, and then it also just gives reliable stats. Especially if you have enchanters on your team, or if you're looking to get an Ocean Soul, I think this is pretty good as well. And then I have Hullbreaker here again because late game this item just gives a ton of magic resist, especially in Mega Gnar. And then I personally do not like it. Force of Nature is probably the most reliable magic resist item. So if you want to play it safe, this is good to go. And then Abyssal Mask, I don't really build that much, but if the enemy team is mainly AP and your team has a lot of AP damage, this could be good to help your team out. Alright, that's it for magic resist. Situational. So Swifties is very situational. I like to build it against champs that have a big slow or just usually are faster than you. I think good examples are Trundle, definitely Nasus, champs like Darius, but it isn't like you don't have to go it. Like, you could still build play to still caps against these champions, but I personally like to go Boots of Swiftness sometimes, especially against Nasus. And then Gargoyle's Stone Plate, I think this is a good late game item if you just need more armor magic resistance, if you need to be more tanky with the shield. I personally don't build it that much, but I see other people building it, so that's why I put it here. Chainsword is a good Grievous Wounds item, but I would say to only build it if you really need it, and like Thornmail won't really work that well for Grievous Wounds. I like to build this against like Aatrox. It's one of my favorite situations to build it in, just whenever you need the healing reduction. Runon's Hurricane, now this is very situational. Of course, snowballing, this is okay. And then the main place I like to build it is whenever your base is getting taken, like all 3 of your inhibs are down. I like to build this because the wave clear is elite, and if you don't have a ton of wave clear on your team, then this is essential, because if not, your enemy team's just gonna end the game. At least you have a chance with Runons to clear all the cannon minions and stuff. And the thing with chains, pretty simple. Just buy this if someone on the enemy team is absolutely snowballing, has a ton of kills. And then Silver Mirror Dawn, just QSS whenever you need that CC debuff. Just get this. Don't build into it fully first, just get this and then build this last, I guess. Alright, now we're going to go to preference mythics. I personally don't like all these. I like some of them, but I see other people going them, so I will mention them. Heartsteel is my favorite though out of all. I like to go this against Malphite mainly, but you could go against the other tanks, but Cleaver is just so good right now that you don't really have to. But I like to definitely go this against Malphite or against full AD or full AP teams. I like to combine this with Titanic Hydra as it gives a ton of AD. Abuse this while you can, because the Pasic for Colossus will be removed in Season 14, I believe. So, but yeah, only build this against full AD, full AP teams, or Malphite. I think it's very good against Malphite because he can't one-shot you, and you just win trades no matter what because of your W in mini and you're too tanky. Divine, I personally do not like it, but of course it's good against tanky teams, but I just think Cleaver and Trinity is just too good right now. Rip Divine Sundra, we will get Sundered Sky in Season 14, I guess. Gorginker, I mean, this item is technically good. It has the stats that Gnar needs, but it sadly just does not have the tempo as other Sheen items. But very good for sustaining team fights if that is your preference. Stridebreaker will never be the same again without the dash, but it does give the stats that Gnar does need. Sadly does not have a Sheen proc, but it gives the movement speed and stuff that you need, the slow. So if you prefer this item, you can try it. I think Iceborne is one of the better mythic items on Gnar, actually, since it does have the Sheen proc and it does reduce damage. It doesn't give as much damage though, which is sad, and you do lack movement speed and attack speed, so, but still very good tank item. And then Jack Cho is just a reliable tank item. I probably wouldn't build this often, but just reliable tank item. Most situations just build Trinity, but if you want to try these, you can give it a shot. But if you want to like purely climb this season, just go Trinity. Lastly, Snowball for fun. Basically, this is meant to say for fun, not fun, but Ravenous is a good Snowball item because you can stack it this season. I think that's going to be removed next season. And then it just gives good sustain, good damage, good ability haste. Death Stance is probably one of the better Snowball AD items, but I think if you're snowballing, it's just better to go Trinity, Cleaver, Styrax Gauge, honestly. But if you want to prefer a Death Stance, then you can go for it. Bork is good against tanks and whenever you're really ahead, but again, I just think Cleaver is better. Runons combined with like a Titanic and Wit's End is very, very good, especially with Heartsteel, but it's very rare that you'll build this, so again, just for fun things. And then Phantom Dancer, same deal, just very good on-hit item. Ignore these if you want to climb. So overall, the best builds, just these items right here, and then just whatever you need for armor, magic resist, and situational. That's what you should build. Alright, that is the items done. I know I was just yapping and yapping, but hopefully that's important information for you for the rest of Season 13. And let's get straight to the runes that you should be using for every game. Alright, so now that the items are finished, let's talk about runes. Runes are very important because taking like the wrong runes can definitely mess up your game. So I'm basically just going to go through this very quickly. The best runes for Gnar are Fleet Footwork because of the movement speed and healing that you get. You get a ton of sustain in lane, and then the movement speed helps you a ton to kite. And then you just go Triumph for the extra health and gold that you get. Alacrity for the attack speed that you get, and then I think Last Stand is the best out of these three down here. And then we usually just go Resolve Secondary. Bone Plating by far is the best rune here because you just take so much less damage. Like I believe like this is one of the main reasons why I mastered today is because of how broken this rune is. Honestly, like this reduces so much damage and you get so much more respect with Bone Plating. And then of course I think Overgrowth is good for all the HP you have since you have a low HP stat. And then you go attack speed, attack damage, and armor. Of course go MR if enemy top laner is AP. And then we'll look at situational for Resolve. Demolish is good against like whenever you have the pushing lane in a good matchup, like against Nasus or Kale. Second Wind is good against Poke with D-Shield. Conditioning is a good scaling option, but I think Bone Plating is just too broken, so I would usually just prefer this now. And then Unflinching if you need Tenacity. And then the only situational thing I would do over here is go Tenacity if you need Tenacity, but try to just go Alacrity. So that's the basics of Fleet Footwork. This is the best rune on Gnar. Now we will go to situational runes. I think Phase Rush is very good against champs that have slows, like Trundle, Nasus, Darius. Mainly I like to go this against Nasus though, like to go Demolish, just to get all the plates and stuff. The movement speed is very good, and yeah, basically just against champs that have slows, I would recommend this rune setup. And then lastly, this is my grass rune setup. I would only do this if I'm going Heartsteel, but it's very, very situational. I would just go scaling runes. You can go Bone Plating if you want to, and then just classic Triumph, Alacrity. So yeah, those are the basics of the runes, but always just go Fleet Footwork every game if you're not confident. Just go Fleet Footwork every single game because this is the most broken rune on Gnar right now. Alright, so that's the basics of the runes, and let's get straight to the abilities and combos. Alright, so after runes, we're just gonna talk about the basic combos of Gnar. Honestly, it's not hard to do the Gnar combos. What I think is most difficult is actually hitting the combo on the enemy. So I'll just teach the basic combos, and then over time you just have to practice and then you'll get better. So I definitely recommend practicing this in practice tool as I'm doing right here, and then over time in game you'll just get better. Like I even still mess up these combos to this day and I'm a master Gnar player. So just don't worry if you missed a ton of abilities, it happens. So we'll talk about the abilities first. Q is just a boomerang, you throw it, if you hit it, it slows. If you want to, you can make it go backwards. Not really reliable though, you can do it to stop backs and stuff, so you can practice that a little bit. But yeah, it basically slows and does a ton of damage. If you catch it, of course, reduces your cooldown. That's the basics of that. Your W is hyper. If you just auto 3 times and then gives you movement speeds. And then you can also practice with Q and E and then auto. If you do that all 3 together, you get really quickly and do a lot of burst damage. And of course, your E is your hop. If you bounce off somebody, you can hop. I think it's very useful to just go over walls like this. Of course, QE hop auto does a ton of damage instantly. I like to use my E to just hop over walls like this. Like you do this pretty much over the map. Just go in practice tool and practice hopping over walls. And then, yeah, it'll be pretty easy. Especially good for mega engages, because like a wall like this, if the team fight's happening, if you go over here, E over, like you can just ult everyone. It's pretty good. So yeah, just go in practice tool and practice your hops and crunches. And then your R and mini just basically increases hyper movement speed. Very underrated. I don't see much people like Gnar players talking about like mini Gnars are. It's probably one of the most broken things about the kit because it literally increases hyper movement speed by a ton. Without that, like Gnar would not be one of the best champions. So like the hyper movement speed at max ult gives 80% more movement speed. Like that is crazy. Like it feels like we have a Cloud Soul every single time we proc this. That's basically the feeling of Gnar's hyper W. Alright, so for Mega Gnar, Q is very similar. It's like Olaf Q. You throw it, it does tons of damage, slows, and if you pick it up, it reduces the cooldown. I guess I have the cooldown off like that, but there, now you can see, pick it up. It just pretty much instantly refreshes it. Alright, Gnar's W is Wallop. Basically, if you hit it, it just stuns. Very reliable CC, pretty low cooldown. This is one of the abilities you can animation cancel with, as well as R. You can with Q2, but it's not as reliable. I'd say WR is better for animation cancels. We'll get into that in a little bit. And then Mega Gnar's E is just Crunch. If you do it while you're transforming to Mega Gnar, you can double bounce just like Mini with the hop. And then Mega Gnar R, you ult, and it shoves everyone into the wall. You can even ult them like this. It doesn't have to go into the wall, but if you hit them on the wall, it does stun. Alright, that is the abilities finish, and we will now talk about combos. Of course, the mini combo, very simple. It's just Q, auto, E. That's basically it for mini Gnar. Not much else. Mega Gnar, you can get animation cancels. So you could go in, and then you could R like that. Auto, W, auto, Q, auto. So you're going to see a lot with these combos that you're going to want to auto pretty much in between every ability. You just, I think people call it weaving in autos. That's the basic way of saying it. So we'll do it without animation canceling, just so it won't be as confusing. So once you get to Mega Gnar, it's pretty simple. You could throw a Q first. If it hits, you could go in, auto, W auto, Q auto, R auto. Just whenever you have ability up. I have my abilities refreshed, so I just spam it. Just go to practice tool, turn this on, and then get to Mega Gnar, and then just go in with an ability, try to animation cancel, and then auto in between every ability. Just do that for pretty much every combo, and you're good. But it's not really hard to do. You just have to practice it a little bit. Don't overcomplicate it. Just go to practice tool and do it. Like, it's pretty easy. So those are the basic combos for Mega Gnar, and of course you can animation cancel, which is pretty easy. You just have to spam click whenever you transfer. I didn't get it there, but again, like I said, just go to practice tool, practice this, and you will get it. Like, animation cancels are very, very good. You can catch your enemy laner off guard, especially since a lot of people don't play Gnar nowadays. Like, they don't really realize that Gnar can do this sometimes with the animation cancel. So if you just practice it, it's pretty good. Alright, now that we're done with abilities, I would like to talk about things you can do in lane. Alright, so I want to talk about in lane tips now. So basically, there's going to be two things you do in lane. It's based on the matchup. If you have a good matchup, you're probably going to want to push. If you have a bad matchup, you probably want to stay back and farm. So if you want to stay back and farm, you basically just sit back, farm as long as you can with your Q, boomerang. I'm not really going to show it here because that's boring, but you basically just wait for it to last hit. You don't really want to push because then you'll be up here the whole game getting invulnerable to ganks, and then, yeah, you can't really do much. And then you just sit back and farm. It's just pretty boring. So if you have a good matchup, you basically just want to push it. I like to throw my Q through the back 3 minions and kill them. I like to do this in lanes, especially against champs I win against, like Nasus. I think it's pretty good. And then once you see that enemy is afraid to step up, you can start to slow push it and then last hit. If they don't though, you can continue to try to poke. As soon as you poke, walk into the bushes, so you get off minion aggro. And then level 2, if you hit level 2 and they step up, and you know that you have the advantage, you can simply E in, Q, auto, get a lot of autos off. You probably win the trade. If you're going against a champ like Camille, I wouldn't like recommend it that much because of her shield. But you know, against champs that you should win against that, do that. And then if they're scared again, if they back up, you can continue to last hit, because look at the big wave that we're building up. Once we're last hitting, it's very, very good. And then you just continue to do this. You're not going to hit every CS, but it's fine. As long as you're making them get off the wave, deny it, and then poking them, going to the bush whenever you poke them, you're doing pretty well early. Of course, you can't do this every game, but I'm just saying this is what an ideal would look like, and then you go in. So there's one or two things you could do here. You could either go get vision, like here on Krug, see if enemy's doing Krugs. You want to be careful doing this because, of course, top laner can come down and hit you. Or you get right here, look for vision, and then you can ward. And then if you do all of that and the wave's still here, I'm sure they'll be clearing it by now, but you could still poke them and poke them. Try not to get hit by tower, of course. You don't really want to hit the tower that much unless you have Demolish before 5 minutes. And then, yeah, that's basically what you do very early in lane. That's the extreme basics. Every game's going to be different. I recommend checking out Gnar replays. I think that's what it's pronounced. I'll link that below in the comments. I'll pin it. Just all the useful videos that you should watch. But that is the ideal early laning phase. I'm not like kidding. That's very ideal what you should do. And then out of all those things, if you do the ward, all of that, if you don't want to do all that, you can still get a cheater recall. But I like to stay in lane a little bit because I like to get enough gold for a Cole or a Boots, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So we're going to see a situation where the wave pushed towards us. Let's say you're in a losing matchup. Basically what you want to do, you want to play safe and just get as much farm as possible. So you see this minion right here that's getting low, you basically want to try to Q it. You're not going to hit it every time like I did, but if you can, step up CS a little bit. But if they have more minions than you, do not step up and fight them. I make this mistake all the time. Do not step up and fight them unless you're very confident that you are going to win. Just try to Q the minions that are low. You don't want to push the wave in because again, you're going to be in an unfavorable situation. If they just consistently have the wave right here, that's what enemy top laners want to do against Gnar. So yeah, just try to let it push in. You're not going to lose too much. And then just try to Q the minions that you can. This is why Gnar is one of the best picks in the game, because you can farm safely. And yeah, we just let it push in. And then you see, we get most of them, right? And you never want, again, never fight them in a big wave like this. Because look, they have like, what, 6 or 7 extra minions than you. They will kill you. Do not do it. Do not do it. The only time you want to go into a wave like this is if you have ult and Mega Gnar, and then you can ult the minions, Q them, and kill them all, and then you can trade. That's a good tip. But other than that, do not go into the wave unless you're 100% confident you're going to win. You want to wait for the wave to push in, and then you just want to CS as best as possible. That is my best tip I can give against losing matchups and matchups that you cannot push against. Of course, this gives the enemy top laner an advantage to go ward, to go roam, but it is what it is. That's top lane at its extreme basics. That's basically what top lane is. So again, as you see, after we get done pushing it, now we have the option to slow push it and deny them of some. That is literally the extreme basics of top lane. It's kind of boring, but it is what it is. You do this over and over again. If they back, you can try to push it in. You can do whatever. Just do everything is best. And yeah. Again, every matchup is different, so you can do something different. Experience is key here, to know what to do in every situation. That's why I said if you have trouble, look at the replays on the Gnar replay channel, and yeah, that's basically what you want to do. So I'll show really quickly in Mega Gnar, like an ideal way to go in since we're about to get it. Well, it looks like the wave's going to push in, but one thing I like to do in Mega Gnar is whenever you get it, especially if you're trying to trade, don't do this on a tower, pretend the wave's back here. You would want to go in, and then you would want to ult the entire wave. Look, you basically one-shot the wave with R and Q, and then you have an amazing trade if you're right here. Okay, that's it for early laning. Now I want to talk about wards. If you're backing, I think a good ward is the place right here, just so you can see what happens right here whenever a top laner gets back. Maybe jungler tries to come in and do a cheese gank. I think, I don't have any wards on me, but you just see a good ward is right here if you need reaction time to the jungler coming up this way. This is a good aggressive ward if you're on red side pushing this way. Of course, getting deeper vision like right here in the river is pretty good to look at Rift Heralds. Of course, Scuttle Crab sometimes spawns, so you could just rely on that. And then getting vision right here is pretty decent. I think this is an amazing ward right here if you're playing aggressive on red side, because you get vision of Gromp and blue buff. Of course, warding wolves is okay too, but that is the safer ward right there. If you're on blue side and being aggressive, I think best defensive ward is right here in this bush, defensive ward right here. A ward on Krugs is okay for this bush, but what I like to do is try to ward like the red buff for Raptors, or even this entrench right here for mid and jungle. I think those are the best wards. And then if you even get deeper vision, that's also good. So you just have more reaction time to the gank. And yeah, those are the basic wards for laning phase. So basically mid game, late game, I'm gonna talk a little bit. It's basic macro. Don't stress about it too much. Just follow a little bit what I say, and then just get experience with it, and it'll be good. So mid game, late game, let's say Baron is up. Mainly for dragons early, you don't want to go to them unless it's the second or third. Then you might want to go to them in team fight. Basically, you want to be on the opposite side of wherever the main objective is. Let's say Baron is the main objective. You want to be opposite side. Of course, go to the lane that is empty, because your mid laner or bot laner might just take the lane that they shouldn't be in. It is what it is. You just have to deal with it. You do not go in the same lane with them. Just go into the empty lane, even if Baron's up and top lane's the only empty lane and mid and ADC are in these two lanes, still go top, because you do not want to miss gold and EXP from the minions. So even if it's bad, go to the empty lane, but let's just say we got lucky and we got the good lane down here. And of course you want to go to lane based on matchup. I like to just match whatever I think is better. Like if mid laner is a good matchup, you want to try to match it up against them, but you can't do that every lane or every game. So just try to go into the empty lane and try your best as possible. Pinging is definitely good to say what lane you want to go in. If you're like in base and you want to go to a lane and you have options, ping which lane you want to go to. Most of the time you don't want to go mid. ADCs usually should be mid, pushing the wave to get control, but mainly top and bot you want to be in, top and bot, and then you want to be in, ideally, not all the time you can, because of course the game is the game, but ideally you want to be in the lane with teleport on the opposite side of the main objective. So that's why I'm saying Baron is the best place, or is the best objective in the game, so we're just going to stay back, unless all the dragon's up of course, but most of the time you're not going to get the Elder Dragon. But we're going to say we're in bot lane, and basically what you want to do is basically what you do in laning phase. It's pretty simple. You just, if you can slow push, it's better, but most of the time you just want to push and then get prio. That's basically what you want to do. Getting prio is good, because just like in lane, if you can roam, it's perfect. If you can roam to your jungle earlier, it's perfect before the other top laner, then you get the better fight. You want to push in the wave, split push. You of course want to get vision, just like you are in lane. Like mid to late game macro is pretty similar to early game macro, except that you're just trying to get prio with the more towers, and then you just want to get vision. Like right here is pretty good vision if you're pushing on blue side, if you're pushing on red side, like vision like this. It's basically what I set up here, but just down here for bot lane. It's basically what it is. And then you always want to try to have teleport up, so you can try to teleport to objectives to get the good flank off for Gnar. And yeah, other ways you can use teleport is to TP for waves, or if your teammate messed up a little bit, you could TP and just try to get the waves back in control. That's the basics of TP. Just consistently look at the map, and if you can TP, get a good flank off, then go for it. Alright, so that's extreme basics of early, mid, late game macro. What else I can say is Baron, try to split push, try to get towers, of course. Try to even up the lanes. Don't push alone if your team's back here with Baron. Only push if they're pushing up with you, and yeah, that's the extreme basics I can say. I will go more depth in this into my season 14 guide, but yeah, that is the extreme basics of macro. But if you can follow those basic rules, you'll get better over time, and then you'll climb. Trust me. Again, if you have any questions, let me know down below. Alright, so this is after everything. These are some last tips that I forgot to include in the video, so they're here now. One of the most important things to do is hold C, because this shows you your range and mini Gnar, and basically if you did not know, every single time you level up, your range increases, except for 2 levels I think. But as you see, each time I level up, the range just goes up and up and up. So one of the most important things you want to do is hold C so you can manage your range, and yeah. That's one of the things with Gnar, is range just goes up as you level up. So yeah, so just always hold C just so you get the idea. Alright, so I think that's it for the basics. I don't want to go too in depth, because again, I'm going to be making another guide in season 14, but these are basically all the extreme basics for the guide. So overall, this is just TLDR. For build, you just want to build tier 2 boots with Trinity, Cleaver, and Styrax. Hold on, this is the wrong one. And then runes, fleet footwork, and then practice your abilities as always, and practice tool, practice your combos and your animation cancels if you're not confident in them, so you'll be better in game. Push if you have a good matchup, stay back and farm safely. If you have a bad matchup, use your boomerang. Try not to push the wave as much, to try to last hit with boomerang as soon as the minions get low. Never fight in a bigger wave, unless your wave is the bigger wave, of course, then you can try to fight. If they have a bigger wave, you can go in with Gnar and clear it with R and Q and surprise them and get a pretty good engage there, and you should be able to win the trade. Vision is important, looking at the map is essential, so always do that. Get vision whenever you can, buy control wards, and then stay, for macro, or go to the lane where you're in or your team is not in. So if let's just say your mid laner is top and your ADC is mid, always go bot. If your ADC is bot and your mid laner is mid, go top. Just go in the empty lane in mid to late game. It would be ideal to get the good matchup and to be on the opposite side of the main objective. If Baron is up, go to bot lane if you can. If Dragon is up, go to top lane if you can. If you do not have TP, you probably want to be closer to the objective. And yeah, looking at the map is very, very essential. And playing safe whenever you have losing matchups, very, very essential. So that is the extreme basics of the guide. Of course, for Season 14 Gnar guide, I will go more in depth as it is a new season. There's going to be new items, new map changes. So yeah, I thought I would just give my knowledge since I just got Master. Those are the extreme basics. I think you could easily increase a rank if you're below Diamond. You could easily get a rank, like if you're trying to get Gold or Platinum or Emerald. With these tips, you could easily get it just with time and experience. The best tip I can give is consistency. Play this game a couple times a day, and you will get better over time, trust me. Like if you play like 5 to 10 games a day, you will get better quickly and you'll reach your goals very, very quickly. Alright, so that is the end of the Gnar guide. If you're confused about anything, please let me know. I'll put useful things down in the description down below. And yeah, just ask me questions please, because this is kind of like a really fast-paced Gnar guide. It may be confusing, so please ask me questions if you have any down below and I will answer them. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I wish you all the best of luck in the last 2 to 3 weeks of your Season 13 climb. And with that being said, I will love you guys forever and always. See you later in the Season 14 Gnar guide in about a month. Bye bye.